Gazam sanibonani siyanimukela namuhla kule stage nesoba nayo Dr. Khangelani Sibiya from KWV tutoring ephinde futhi sebenzisane kakhulu ne-WTS. So today sobheka le session awuhlale phansi nje uye konke okwenzayo kanenhle ulalele khonto ezokusiza ekugcineni ngizozwa ngawe ususenda ama message ukuthi ke u-understande kahle akuqale nje uhlale phansi ulindele le session. Siyabonga.
Iyakho inti obiphara.
Ngazami sanibonani uProf Sibiya namuhla ke ngifuna siqale nje sibuye kakhulu i-trigonometry, and we know ukuthi trigonometry is plus or minus 50 marks. So ngifisa ukuthi sibheke nje izinto engama basics ezokwazi ukuthi zikulekelele noma uthathe noma yipi past paper noma uhlanganise ukufundisa uthisha wakho kube ukuthi uzohlanganisa lokho engizokwenza manje kuzokulekelela kakhulu. Right, ake siqale ke sibheke sibone ukuthi kwenzakalani. Then must check ke i-trigonometry as I indicated ukuthi it's plus or minus 50 marks. So we normally says ngani kulo 50 at least awusitholele above 35. Right, above 35, that's a minimum one. Right, so yini into ebalekile lam so ebheka ngokwama questions. Let's take the example one here. The KWV, we know in KWV is example led. This is example one. So equation ngendlela engabuzwa ngayo la when we talk about the trigonometry, that is where equation is to express the following in terms of any variable. Let's say in this case in terms of P. But if cos 20, for example, is equal to P, then this is the first question. So yini kufanele kuyibheke mangabe kunje, if equation it express into yazi ufanele kwazi ukuthi ngaso kesikhathi udweba i-right angle triangle. So asibheke ngani ukuthi kwenzakalani. Here is our a triangle, but to be specific, this one must be a right angle triangle. We know that there is this side which is our hypotenuse side. Then this is P over 1. So you have to understand what is cos equal to. So when we look at cos, according to the word SOHCAHTOA, cos is given by adjacent of hypotenuse, which means our adjacent side in this case is P. Our hypotenuse side is always equal to 1. So which side is missing here? It's a y side. How can we calculate y? We go for theorem of Pythagoras. So then if you use theorem of Pythagoras, obviously this will give you what? Root of 1 minus p squared. Then that is what you must do. That's the first question. So as I indicated, that the first question would be looking at the word which would say express the following in terms of. So that is what you must understand. And there, if you are given that one, you have to use the right angle triangle. That's the first question. Then the second one, this is our KWV2. In this case, you'll be given a Cartesian plane with a line like this one. And they would say this is A, OA. And A is given by T is to negative 5. And sometimes given this line would be, obvious, let's say this line is 16 or 17. Right. So if you are given something like this, it's obviously it's our x-axis, this is our y-axis. So if it this is what you do. For the complete a right angle triangle, which is very wrong, okay. Ayikho into njengane yami kwa maths. Ngaso sonke isikhathi mawi dweba triangle yakho, this one must be always along the horizontal x-axis, not along the y-axis. So now, what is our x in this case? Our x is t, but what we must know is that the value of t will be what? Will be negative because this is on your left-hand side. Now, what is our y value? Our y value is negative 5. Now, the question will be, the first one, we'd say calculate the value of t. How can you calculate the value of t? Obviously, you'll go for theorem of Pythagoras. So this will be 17 squared equal to t squared plus negative 5 squared. Then what next? You make this one a subject of the formula. So your t will be equal to negative. Why putting negative? Because we said on your left-hand side, your x values are negative. So this would give you a negative. Then you use your calculator. Obviously, this will be 17 squared minus 25, which is square root of 5 squared. Right. So this is what you must know. It's 17 squared minus 5 squared. Then your answer that you got here obviously would be negative. Then that is the one that you would put it here. But your angle would be something like this. So you'd say this angle would be theta or alpha, any variable that would be given. That's the second one. Right? We said the first one express, the second one, that is where you'll be given the diagram. Now, the third one, ilapha-ke ngane yami okufanele kube wena-ke manje oyikhiphelayo i-triangle. They would say maybe here, if 17 sine alpha minus 13 equal to 0, and our alpha is between, let's say, between 90 to 360. Okay, this is our restriction. So in this case, the question would say with the aid of a diagram, which means you are the one of an a diagram. Now, equation is sinayo ukuthi ma uyidoba le diagram, we do first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, or fourth quadrant. So yilokho kufuneka identify here. So when Janik, let's check what we are given here. We are given 17 sine alpha minus 13 equal to 0. And the corner in this case, for you ukuzokwazi solve la, you have to make sine alpha a subject of the formula. Now, what you will do, you transpose this one and divide by 17, which means your sine alpha here will be 13 over 17. So according to the word SOHCAHTOA, your sine will be always given by hypotenuse, opposite of hypotenuse. So which means in this case, your hypotenuse side is 17, your opposite side is 13. Now, if you look at sine theta, your sine theta is positive. So which quadrant where sine is positive? In fact, there are two quadrants where sine is positive. That is the first quadrant and the second quadrant. We know in Ghanaian we always say all Sibiyas take coffee. Let's say coffee. They used to say castle, but let's say coffee. Right. So then, which means the sign is positive on the first quadrant and the second quadrant. Now, unfortunately, as far as what we have to choose one out of the two. Now, Sesia checker. Another restriction, they say our alpha is between 90 to 360. Here is our 90. There we go. This is our 360, which means that include quadrant number 2, number 3, and number 4. So you check which quadrant where you have two ticks. Obviously, that's the second quadrant. Then that is where you throw your terminal arm. This is your right angle triangle. So what is your y there? It's 13. What is your r? It's 17. So what is missing here? It's your x. And your x in this case is also negative because this is on your left-hand side. Now, the question will be, x. Obviously, you go for theorem of Pythagoras. So your x here will be minus, then your r, which is 17 squared minus 13 squared. Then your answer that you got there is the one that you put it here. So that is question number 3. So that is what you must know. And it definitely, in terms of Puma, it's between the 3. That's your first question. Okay. Asambeke manje nganenhle sithi we complicate siyeka grade 12. Then that is our number 4. Ka grade 12 they can say they can give you the double angle to say this is 4 sine theta cos theta equal to 1. Okay, if you look at this one, if you have sine theta and cos theta, you think of a double angle. We know a double angle to EU sine. Double angle sine is given by what? 2 sine theta cos theta. Right. Now, here we are given 4 instead of 2. So we have to divide this one, or we have to rewrite this one in terms of 2. So obviously that one will be 2 times 2 sine theta cos theta equal to 1. Then this one obviously is our a double angle. So this will give you 2. The double angle for this one, this will give us sine 2 theta, which is equal to 1. Obviously, you divide by 2. So which means your double angle here, which is sine 2 theta, is given by 1 over 2. And we know that your 1 would be y, and your r obviously would be 2. All right, because sikamaliti sokato, which is opposite of hypotenuse. So that is what you must know. So there are 4 questions for them. Part 1 of what we call trigonometry. Now, asibukeke manje, when we are given ama reductions, so it's something that you must know now. Okay, let's look at what we call reductions. Okay, for reductions, we know that we have 0 here, 0 degrees, 90, 180, 270, and 360 degrees. Okay. Here we say on the first quadrant, all trig ratios are positive. Second, usine. Third, tan. Fourth, cos. Uyalazi ingane yami iculo la. Awusikwazi ukulikhohlwa ngisho exam ulicula kancane. Our first quadrant, all trig ratio positive. Second quadrant, only sign is positive. Isho njalo ingoma yethu. Silanda kumaskandiki. Our first quadrant, all trig ratio positive. Our third quadrant, only tan is positive. Our first quadrant, all trig ratio positive. Our third quadrant, only tan is positive. So sithi ngane hla ukwazi ukuyisha into enjalo uyicula. Kusho ukuthi akhona amanye ama-trig ratios here okusine no cos kodwa banjani ba negative. Ku-fourth only cos, amanye akhona kodwa njani a negative. So asambe ku first quadrant we have theta. With theta ngasonke isikhathi it's what we call a ref angle. City, this one will always give us what we call an acute angle. So umsebenzi kwa grade 8. La ku fourth quadrant we have a negative angle, right? So a negative angle is ku fourth quadrant. So there's something special ngalona. 90 degrees usinika what we call cofunction. This is what we call cofunctions. Now, itinikele itu sine uyashintsha usine uba cos, ucos abe usine. So ke maku no 90. Sesithi ngane enhle mangathatha nje ngithathe leya ngiyenze leyana kube umuntu lapha, ikhanda lapha ya, ibuye le izandla bese kuba zinyawo. Okay, kusho ukuthi lo no 90 ubani lo u0 no 360 lo ngapha 180. Then la kusho ukuthi ngiphethe 270. So uyethi umzali wakho uyayishintsha indlela ocabanga ngayo. So that means ama cofunctions usine uba ucos ngoba engqondweni yakho ila noma ekhanda la ufuna ukushintsha khona indlela ocabanga ngayo. Oh, enye futhi cofunction u270. Umzali mase uhluphile ngane uyakutshela ukuthi ushintshe indlela ohamba ngayo. Kusho ukuthi lo 270 ufuna kuyishintshe i-trig ratio. Usine uba ucos no cos abe usine. So lokho kubile sikubiza ukuthi kuyini kungama cofunctions. Ungakhohlwa. Ka grade 12 noma sithi ku caps document awusasebenzi lo. Uzozuthola ke ngane enhle ngoba uyevarsity vele usuphasile wena manje. So evarsity uzobusuyithola ke sebekhuluma ngo270. Asibambe. So this is what we call reductions. Asibuke ke izinto ezibalekile kuma reductions uzokwenza nje ezu3 bese siyayivala. Right. Asibuke ke ngane enhle. Eyokuqala izothi mangisuka la, let's say this is our first one. The question here is just simplify the following. Obviously without using a calculator. But ke angithandi le question it without using a calculator ngoba uthisha uvele ethi thenga calculator bese uthi question without using a calculator. So don't worry ngane, use your calculator, right? Ngoba ngeke phela uthenga calculator ungayisebenzisa. Asambe ukuthi uyisebenzisa kanjani. Mangiqala ke la asithathu A. Mangithi simplify, this one would be sine 180 plus x. Okay? Na imbuzo yakho. Ngisho uthisha ngaze akufice kuyibhalele imbuzo eyakho le. Ngeke asho lutho ngoba ngiyakuvumela kuyisebenzise le. U0 la, u90, 180, 270 kube u360. Oh, we say all squares take cocktail, yeah, you know. Asisho njalo ngazange ngizongihlupha la. Wozake. Ithini ke le manje? 180 plus. Mangithi 180 uyazi ngane enhle mase sithi J set J manje serious. Masithi 180 ubamba la, mighty plus yaphambili. Kusho ukuthi ithini ngane enhle ithi 180 plus. Shuthi mighty plus yaphambili. Kukwabani la? Kukwathan. Oh yeah. Ubani lo? Usign. Kusho ukuthi lona unjani? Unegative. Oh yeah. Ilula ke le. Asithatha u2. U2 manje asiphinde ngayo usign, it's going to be sin squared 180 minus. Asibukele na. Ithini ke manje 180 minus. Ukhumbule ngane angimvumi umuntu osho njalo. Ayikho kwa maths ethiwa 180 minus. Might minus yemove. Should sit 180 minus. Iyahlehla. Masithi plus yapi? Yaphambili. Angifuni umuntu TikTok afaka lento ethi qoqoqo asikho lapho. Sithi plus woza minus. Khona bangenza emakhaya. 180 plus 180 minus. Oh, kusho ukuthi might minus yemva. Kukwabani la? Kukwa sign. Oh, kusho ukuthi sign weight in this case unjani ke? Positive. So which means here we have positive sign x kuno squared. So kusho ukuthi answer yethu izoba nobani nayo? No squared. Oh, khona into engifuna uyinake ke ngane buka ke manje. Kuno squared. Ithini minus squared? I-answer yethu njalo mangino squared iyohlala i-positive. Wathi ngikhombise. Okay, let's go for cos now. When you say cos squared 180 minus x. Okay, samba nawe ngane enhle. Mangino squared wenza nje. Nawo ku squared. Siukhipha sube ngaphandle. Woza ngane. 180 minus. Khona bangenzi. 180 bani minus. Kusho ukuthi yahlehla ngane. Kwabani la? Kukwa sign. Ubani lo? U-cos. Kusho ukuthi answer yethu njani lapha? I-negative. Kodwa kunobani la? Kuno squared. So which says negative times negative, obvious that will give you positive, which means your answer here will be positive cos squared theta. Sekule nto ade ngisho wengane enhle ukuthi njalo mangino squared i-answer yakhe yohlala enjani? I-positive. Ngenza sokuthi noma engaba khona negative kodwa mangino 2 negative times negative usuyabona ukuthi ke lento wayifunda kwa grade 8 isiyakusebenza manje. Ambe nani ufunda grade 8 ngenxa ye COVID ingane so ke kodwa into kafanele ifunde le negative times negative the answer is positive. Ihamba kanjalo ngane. Ungakhohlwa ke. Negative times positive, the answer would always give you what? Negative. And a positive times positive, the answer is positive. So ilokho sithi ama sign operations. So awukwazi ukwakhohlwa. Asibone ukuthi thina lena inayo squared. Lena inobani? Ino squared. Ikondile. Ake sithi kuyitshekisa kancane ke manje. Khona sifuna ukuyibona. Okay. Masithatha lo u-d. U-d ake ngithatha u-tan manje. Not squared. Tan 540 minus x. Onginenkinga ke manje. This is 540. Mas checka ke i-plane yethu u0 la, u90, 180, 270, 360. Mas i-checka la asinaye u108. Kusho ukuthi lo muntu nje uhamba ngama-clocks uhambela phezulu. Wazwa udlulile la. I-revolution yethu igcina ku-360. Asilungise ngani ayikho into ethi. Mayinkulu lo muntu shothi uhambela phezulu asimehlise ngani. Kwa-maths umuntu asimdeleli masimehlisa. Si-minus abani? U-360. Sibone ke answer yethu. Right. Asibone. Mayinkulu endli kuno-360. Into yenzayo uyayi-reduce. U-minus abani? U-360. Angithi uyabona i-question without using a calculator. Ngeke phela ongayisebenzisi. 540 minus 360. Obviously, answer yethu kuzoba 180 minus x. Okay? Sesizothini ke manje? 180 minus. Saqhubeka no minus wethu. 180 bani? Minus. Abanye bayakhohlwa ukuthi siyahlehla la. 180 minus. Nakho. Kukwabani ke la? Kukwa sign ubani lo? U-tan. Kusho ukuthi answer yethu njani? I-negative. Okay. Ku-1 mark lo. Asikuveze ngani. Sinenkinga ukuthi u-tan kwa-maths asivumelekile. U-tan uyashintsha. Ngithi kothisha be-maths ke siyahlupheka thina njengothisha. Buka ke. Ngendlela ohlupha ngayo la uzofika uthi wena sin x over negative cos x. Sekuvele kwaba wrong ke manje. Ngoba mangithi negative and negative answer u-positive. Kodwa la nginobani? Uno-negative. Kusho ukuthi ayikho into enje kwa-maths. Asivele nje siyi-cancel. Lena ithi magno minus ukhipha negative kanje bese ushintsha u-tan. Kusho ukuthi lo negative owakho konke konke lokhu kuhlangene, not ukuthi negative oka sine, negative okabani, oka cos. So kusho ukuthi ngane is going to be negative into sine x over cos x. So ke izinto ke sithi fanele uzazi lezo. Right, asivaleke manje. Sesiya ku part 3. Lena ithi mayinkulu uminaza u360. Ake sibone mayiphambene ke manje. Okay? Kuke kwenzeke ke imathanda ke manje. U-e uzothi cos into x minus 360. Nanso ke phambene. Thina siyazi qala i-acute angle, siyazi qala le angle. Kusho ukuthi lento mase writer is going to be cos into negative 360 plus what? Plus x. Sinenkinga ke manje. Our angle here is negative. So if the angle is negative, into yenzayo you add what? 360. Asiphinde. Angihlehle kancane. If the angle yethi inkulu, we subtract 360. Okay? Lena ke manje angle yethi sinjani? Is negative. If the angle is negative, you add 360. Obviously, lena le izo cancela, then answer it salabani cos x. All right. Now, inkinga ke siba nayo kini ngani zami niyazi nani. Mase ku sine into x minus 180. Ake ngiqale ngento e-wrong eniyenzayo. Misconception asilungise. Sinabantu abathi sema kunje this will be sine into negative 180 plus x. Bese thi umuntu okunegative le angle kodwa manje njengoba i-negative kusho ukuthi ke njengoba i-negatives add u360 la seku 180 bese kusho ukuthi ngizo add 180. Okay, asivumelani ayikho le. Sithi ngaso ke si-add u-add abani u360 ngoba u360 uyena osinikeza i-revolution. Ngicela ukwenza into correct manje. Ngiyakwazi ke noma e-drama uzothi answer le akusi-answer le njengoba ngiyenze nje kusho ukuthi njalo lena i-wrong. Sengibhale correct ke manje sambe ngani. Should this one would be sine into this would be minus 180 plus x. Ibambe ngani ibambe? Negative. Should is add abani la u360. Kusho ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi u-add 360. So the answer yethu this would be sine into negative 180 plus 360, obviously this will give us 180 plus x. Or akwakhohlwa ngane ngiyakwazi. Here is our 180. Might 180 plus kukwabani la? Kukwatan. Ubani lo? Usine. Which means the answer yethu will be what? Will be negative. Right. So ngane yami izinto esithi zibalekile lezi ukuthi uzazi. Ama basics esithi azokwenza ukuthi i-trigonometry kube ukuthi uyayi enjoy. Asambeke. Ukhumbula ukuthi mase kufundisa sithi lokho kubalekile. Mase sifuna uyithole yonke lento ngendlela elula. Ake nginike enye imbuzo ngane ngiyazi imbuzo ethanda. Buka le. Lena ithi here ngino 90 minus x. Bese ngireflectisa across x axis. So this one will be x minus 90. Okay, angibuye ngapha. This is 180 minus. Mangi reflect along the x-axis izoshintsha le izoba x minus 180. Asiphinde ile siyaziyo. Siyayazi le ngane enhle ukuthi this is 360 minus. Mase reflector leni izoba bani u-x minus 360. Oh, kwenziwa lento esithi i-reflection. Uyakhumbula i-reflection uyitholela kwa grade 11 na kwa grade 10, kwa grade 12 ikhona iyabuya. Sesi-apply manje kwa trigonometry. Asibuye kulesibalo sethu sokuqala ke. Isibalo sethu sokuqala beku cos into x minus 360. Okay, ngiyakwazi ngiyashesha ukukhohlwa sami. I-answer yethu yala ibi positive. Okay? Ivaleke mfana ila manje. X minus 360. Which quadrant is that one? Oh, first quadrant. First quadrant, we say all trig ratios are positive. Oh, should the answer yethu yalapha njani i-positive. So angisalokhu ngi-add manje sengenze method elula ke manje. Okay, asithatha number 2. Number 2 beku sine into x minus 180. So uya-check-a ke ikiphi ke quadrant la. Kusho ukuthi leni quadrant number 3 kukwabani la? Kukwatan. Ubani lo? Usine. Kusho ukuthi answer yethu izoba njani la? Negative. Mana ake sicheke ukuthi nalapha ngemuva ibu negative na. Sesifuna ukubona indlela elula manje. Khumbula ukuthi isikhathi asikho ku-exam. Oh yes, njengobona ngane yami answer njani la i-negative. Kusho ukuthi siney'ndlela ey'ningi. Uyazi-ke nawe i-maths. Ikhona-ke enye-ke kodwa kasibambele into ezokwazi ukuthi usheshe ufike answering. Isiza kakhulu-ke manje mase sino sin into x minus 90. Ngane enhle khona into esikhumbulayo ngo-90. U-90 sithe i-cofunction, indlela umuntu acabanga ngayo iyashintsha. Kusho ukuthi angithandi ngiyathanda u-90 uzomshintsha usin abe u-cos. Now, u-x minus 90 uku-third quadrant, not third, fourth. Ku-fourth kwabani la? Kuka-cos, ubani lo? Usin. Kusho ukuthi uvakashile. Ngeke ngane uvakashe udle iklabishi. Kusho ukuthi bathethwa kamnandi lapho. Silindele udle inyama. Kusho ukuthi ngane enhle njengoba leyo ivakashile nje simtreat special. Unobani? Uno-negative. Kunjalo ngane. Ngathi ngiyakubona nje ukuthi ungivakashile uneklabishi ngiyovele ngithi ngifastile ngeke ngimele iklabishi mina. Right, asabeke ngane. Now u-90 uyamshintsha usin abo cos. Uyitholile le. So izinto esithi zibalekile ngane yami upart 3. Okay? Asabe ungakhohlwa ukuthi okuningi so lokhu siwaveza lama lessons uku-attend ama classes esiba nawo suke songena ke siphendula ama questions athanda ukuthi abe strong. Okwamanje sikunika imbuzi lengane. Futhi akusengisho imbuzi phela isiningi lento inkomo yonke le. Shothi into yokuthi nje lena uma ungena uyi-understand ngempela ephepheni uyozenzela. Ngane yami namuhla sivala la. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi uhlale ube nathi ukuthi usilalele le session yethu ungakhohlwa ke maningi ama lessons asalokho abekhona ungasali yenza nje kube kulula. Subscribe la ukuze ukwazi ukuthola ama lessons alandelayo uphinde usifollowishe kuma social networks esinawo Facebook kanjalo TikTok zonke nje indawo la ukwazi ukuthi usilandele khona ngeke uyisole. Siyabonga kakhulu.